got the memo about wearing purple. Excellent. We're doing that in honor of Camp Jupiter, of course, because a lot of the book is taking place there. I am so happy that you guys can come out and share this night with me. You are among the first in the world to get your hands on this book. It doesn't come out officially until tomorrow, and you're definitely the first to get signed copies, because this is the first time I've done that. What a fabulous place to launch the Tour of Doom. We are doing 8 cities in 8 days across the United States. But don't think of it as a bad sort of doom. Think of it as sort of a happy, sunshiny kind of doom. Yeah, because after all, what could happen bad in one of my books, right? I know, I'm sorry, bad things happen in the books, it's true. And if you read the last one, The Burning Maze, that was, sadder than most. It was sad for me too, but I saw that coming a mile away. I looked at these evil emperors, and I looked at Lester Papadopoulos, Apollo, and all his not-so-much glory, and I knew that something bad was going to go down, and sure enough it did. But we have more adventure to come, so hopefully, the Tyrant's Tomb will turn out a little better. I think these 2 pictures really tell the whole story, though. On the left, we have Lester, aka Apollo, hanging by his fingernails from a metal beam hundreds of feet above San Francisco, with Meg beneath him saying, "Please do not kick me in the face." While our old friend Reina Avila Ramirez Ariel, courageous praetor of New Rome, leads the way, boldly fending off a flock of black chickens. Apparently. Meanwhile, on the right, the author enjoys a relaxing vacation in Rome. Yes, I'm a very lucky guy. I get to do a lot of travel, and wherever I go, it eventually shows up in the books. This looks like the smile of a man who's come up with new ways to torture his characters and readers. That's because it is. In fact, it was on a trip like this where I first got the idea to do the Trials of Apollo. I love exploring Percy Jackson's world, and as you know, I've done a lot of books set there. The Percy Jackson series, of course, started it all, and really, that was a story that I first told just to my son as a bedtime story when he was 8 years old, and he was struggling with dyslexia and ADHD. He did not like school. The only thing he liked was Greek mythology. So I said, "Hey, I've taught Greek mythology for years. I was a middle school teacher. Why don't I tell you some stories, just to kind of get your spirits up?" And one day I ran out of stories to tell him, so I made one up. I said, okay, once upon a time, there was a kid named, I don't know, Percy Jackson. And I said, and he had ADHD and dyslexia, just like you. And he found out that if you have those learning differences, there's a pretty good chance you're a demigod. And my son was like, yeah. And so Percy Jackson was born. I did the 5 books in that series, and then I went back to Percy's world with the Heroes of Olympus series. I didn't want to do the same thing again all over. I didn't want it to be like just Percy Jackson 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I know I could have done that, and a lot of you guys would have been totally happy with that, but it would have made me bored. And if I'm feeling bored, I'm afraid that eventually it's going to creep into the writing and it's just not going to be the same. So I said, okay, let's shake it up a little bit. Let's have 7 demigods, and they're all taking turns telling the story. At the beginning, that sounded great. Yeah, 7, that's a good number, I like that. And then I realized as I began to write, 7 is a lot. But somehow I managed to juggle them all and get them all to tell their version of the story. And then I said, you know what, I want to go back to Percy's world one more time, but I want to do it differently again. And on one of those trips I mentioned, I heard the story about how in mythology, twice, Apollo, the god, had been punished by his dad Zeus and sent down to work as a mortal slave for some kings of Greece. And I thought, wow, first of all, I didn't know Zeus could do that. That's kind of scary. Secondly, what did Apollo have to do to get grounded like that? So, the idea of writing from the point of view of Apollo, I like Apollo. He's the god of all kinds of things. But let's be honest, Apollo's kind of full of himself, right? He's kind of a jerk, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to write a whole series with just this guy who's like, yeah, I'm cool. I met a monster, killed him. Yeah, it was no big deal. I thought that would be really boring. But then I said, well, if I have him go down and be a hopeless mortal, that could be interesting. Okay, now we're talking. A hopeless geek with no talent? These are my people! I can write about this. I like the fact that Apollo goes into this series and he thinks he's all that, and he soon finds out, yeah, he's really not. And not only that, he's got a boss who's this 12-year-old girl, and she's telling him what to do, and he's just really miserable. He goes on all these quests. He's got to fight these evil emperors and kill these monsters and do all this stuff that normally he would just tell the demigods to do. But a strange thing is happening as he goes through the books. He's finding out that this being human thing is really hard. And hopefully he's learning a little bit during the process, especially in the last book where, man, things did not go very well. Now, Tyrant's Tomb, we're on the 4th book. He is heading to San Francisco, to the Roman demigod camp of Camp Jupiter. Yes. Apollo gets out of the plane, he gets in the car, and he's hoping for a nice, relaxing drive up the California coast. Not so much. This is a live shot of Apollo going off the side of the cliff, with Meg next to him, and a flesh-eating ghoul, a Euronymous, on the hood of their hearse. Yes, they're driving a hearse. Some of you may be able to figure out why. This is not a spoiler, this is just chapter 1. There's so much going on. They get to Camp Jupiter, things are not going well there. They have this thing happening where zombies are like attacking the camp, and nobody's really sure why. Soon they find out there's a tyrant in a tomb. And they don't know who the tyrant is or where this tomb is, but he seems to be the one behind all the zombie attacks. So they're going to have to figure that out. Also, I do have to just warn you, the artwork that you're going to see in the presentation is taken from a lot of different places. Like there are some that are done for illustrations for promotionals. There are some that are done by John Rocco, who did my cover art for all the books. Are from Riordan.com, which is Disney's site that they created for me. It's a great site, and they have their own kind of artwork, and some of them are from Viria, who started out as a fan artist of my series, and then I hired her, and now she's my official artist for my website. You may end up getting artistic whiplash looking at all these different versions, but as I always say, just remember, we'll roll with it, and the best image you will ever have is the one you create in your head when you read. No screen can ever beat that. So, what else is going on for Lester in this book? Well, here's an example of the artwork. I'm pretty sure that's not Viria. That is the Sibyl of Cumae, one of the ancient oracles that used to report to Apollo and do his bidding. And that is Apollo on the left and the Sibyl on the right, and Apollo is apparently like, oh God, she has dirt. What this is a picture of, basically back in the old days, Apollo, being Apollo, thought that the Sibyl of Cumae was really cute and wanted to go out with her. And she said, no, it's like a working relationship here, I don't want to date you. And he says, no, come on man, I'll take you to Olive Garden, get you some breadsticks. The Sibyl is like, I'm good, thanks. I've heard what happens to your boyfriends and girlfriends. They like go up in flames and turn into trees and stuff like that. He says, no, it's all good. I'll give you any wish you want if you'll go out with me. And the Sibyl's like, yeah, right. I bet she wouldn't give me as many years of life